sorry about the cheesy thumbnail. It's just when you do so many sit down videos, it gets harder and harder to come up with like, how do I pose so that, you know, people can see what this video is about without having to like click on it first, because that's usually, I mean, that's basically what the thumbnail is for. So there's only so many things you can do so many times. Today's video is like kind of impromptu. I decided to sit in my corner that I sat in to reflect on distance learning from the spring. For this week's video, I wanted to film a back to school plan with me. If you have subscribed since like the beginning of my channel, you might remember a couple years ago, I tried really hard to do a plan with me video, and I think it took like 5 tries before I actually got one up. So I feel like plan with me videos are kind of doomed on my channel, but I was hoping to have something up, and I'm kind of just waiting right now, and I'm worried that filming a plan with me video when it actually happens for me might not be very timely. I know some people have already started going back to school. Actually, it was the last week of July I started seeing people on Instagram saying that they were back in school, which blows my mind. I will talk in more detail about what my school is doing for back to school this year at the end of the video for anyone that wants to know, but the reason I'm not doing a plan with me is because we don't go back to school as teachers until September 1st, and we're not having students until September 14th. So I decided it's not totally in my best interest to start planning for back to school right now, like as I normally would be at this time of the year, just because so many things are going to change when we get to September. I mean, our plan that we have in place could change even, so I'd rather wait and just have ideas of what I want to do for back to school. I'm going to keep track of them. I'm going to write them down so that I have options to choose from, but I'm not going to go like so far into figuring everything out right now because I just feel like I'm gonna have to change stuff anyway. But I wanted to instead talk to some of the things that we are all experiencing right now in this very unusual back to school season. And let's just start with this decision paralysis. What should you do for back to school? It's hard. If you don't know what's going on in your school yet, which I know some people are still in that boat, if you aren't quite sure the details, which is where I am, or even if you do know all of that, but you still have a ways to go before you start, who knows what things are going to look like in a couple of weeks. So it's hard to plan ahead, and that's okay. You do not have to have everything figured out today. Your classroom does not have to be set up. It does not have to be perfect. You have plenty of time to figure things out, and when you know more details, it will be easier to choose. So in this time of waiting, I'm gathering ideas, which is what makes Teachergram so great, especially just being in New York where we would start school later anyway. You get to see what everyone else is doing and then kind of like pick and choose what will work for you. So right now I'm just gathering ideas, going to keep a list, and I'll narrow down what I'm actually doing when I know more from my district about what our day is going to look like. The second thing that I feel that I need to speak to is the posts that I keep seeing about being a first-year teacher all over again. If you've already had your first year of teaching, you are not a new teacher all over again. And I feel like that's the kind of thing that people just say out loud because they're feeling overwhelmed, and instead of like releasing some of that anxiety, it instead spirals and makes you feel worse. I think what people mean when they're saying that they feel like a first-year teacher all over again is that there is an incredible amount of work ahead of them because they have to take their curriculum and convert it to be digital. And there's also just learning new technologies and new ways to do things. And I totally get it, but we're not first-year teachers again. We have experience. We have however many years of classroom experience with students, and nothing, not teaching online, is going to take that away from us. So yes, you might have a curriculum that needs to be converted to work digitally, but at least you have a curriculum that you know and understand and have been working with. It's simply not the same as being a first-year teacher all over again. The next thing that I want to talk about is all of the changes, and I'm someone that does not like change, and really it does feel like all of this change is happening to us, but we can make it so that this change is happening for us. We are always preaching to our students about having a growth mindset. This is our chance to demonstrate what that looks like. Now at this stage, I don't have any concrete advice for how to do this. I just know that I want to keep the mindset of embracing changes. I feel like this is going to be our chance to make some real changes, because if we're going to be very honest about how education is currently, or how it was prior to everything that happened, it was imperfect and there were things that needed to be fixed. I know that we are all very overwhelmed right now, but I'm hoping that we're able to take this time and figure out ways to make the changes that we want to see happen in education. Just think back to last spring when we were teaching online, many of us for the first time. We were able to find things that actually worked better online than in the classroom, and I'm hoping that we're able to do that with the big things. So I'm in a mindset right now to keep my eyes open and look for opportunities to make some of these changes work for our benefit and to make them more permanent. And just please know, I'm being very, very broad here. I don't have anything like completely zeroed in yet. This is a feeling. Things are gonna change no matter what after this experience. So I wanna keep my eyes open for things that I want to change to improve things for everyone. That's how I feel big picture, but like small picture, what I'm thinking about is every year for back to school, I always see all of these incredible ideas and say, ooh, I wanna try that out. But I don't end up trying anything out because back to school is overwhelming anyway. Like no matter what, every year it's overwhelming. But I start teaching and go right back to my old routines and my old ways of doing things because they're comfortable and they're easy and I know that they work. And that has always kept me from trying something new to see if it works better. So I feel like because change is being forced upon me, why not just go all out, change other things too, and then see if that works better. And then consider how would I be able to implement that long term in the future. Just like a very honest aside, I have faith that we will be back in our classrooms someday. But when we do go back, I have a feeling things are going to be very, very different because of this experience that we've had. And I know some of you are saying duh, and some of you are like, oh no. But I think that's the honest truth. That's my prediction. This year, I encourage you to keep an open mind, try new things, and learn what you can, because this is going to be a difficult year. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's going to be hard still, but we are going to learn so much, we are going to grow so much, and we are going to leave this experience as better teachers. I'm so certain that we are going to grow through this whole process, and at the end, we're going to be better for it, and maybe we'll even feel like this was worth it. Fingers crossed. So that's what I wanted to share. I didn't want to keep that to myself. I definitely wanted to like release it to anyone that wanted to hear it or wanted to listen. It's almost kind of like a pep talk, but I want the school year to be good for everyone, and I just know it's hard right now and it's hard to see those things, but I have so much faith. I'm going to do a random podcast plug, but the first 2 episodes of this season's Truth for Teachers podcast is kind of what sparked these thoughts. So some of these thoughts you'll probably hear echoed in the conversations with Angela, and in the second episode of the new season, she had a guest. So Truth for Teachers podcast, and then also the Amy Porterfield podcast. The episode's called How to Stop Playing Small with Britt Barron. It's an amazing episode. It's like, even if you're not there to learn anything about business stuff, it's like a life episode. It was amazing. So highly recommend both of those. And just because I'm assuming I might get asked this question, or it's just kind of helpful to hear about these different thoughts and ideas, I want to share about what my school is doing this year. So in terms of what my school is doing, this is like my 3rd or 4th time filming this because I'm trying to make it like as succinct as possible. Most people would ask if we are hybrid or online only, and I feel like neither category really encapsulates what we're doing, but we are essentially just having 100% online instruction. Our school has reallocated our conference days to the very beginning of the year, so we're going to get training on like just teaching really well online so that we're prepared, and then students will be able to come in. Parents are getting the option to keep their students at home or to send them to school. For the students that are going to be sent to school, they're going to split them up into an A group and a B group, so they're coming on different days, and they're going to be assigned a pod, is what they're calling it for right now, which is a classroom with 12 students and 2 teachers. So students in the A group are coming in Monday, Tuesday. Students in the B group are coming in Thursday, Friday. Wednesday is a day of like deep cleaning in the building where there won't be students there, but teachers have the option to come in if they feel better about working from school rather than home. And that's going to be the day where they schedule our meetings and where we can go online and like have meetings with students for like more synchronous learning opportunities. So overall, I feel good about the plan, and the students, when they come to our classroom, we're not delivering instruction, we're there to support them. So a lot of parents were kind of telling us how it was difficult for them to know how to support their child at home. So we're kind of letting them come back into the building, and then teachers will have the role of supporting students while they're doing their online learning. So they're going to be in our classroom. We're going to do social emotional learning with them, but they're going to be on their Chromebooks when they're doing their work for their courses, and we're there to support them. So we might not be able to help them with subject areas that are outside of ours, but we are able to teach them how to connect with those teachers so that they can get what they need from them. So overall, I feel good about the plan. There's a lot of little details that need to be worked out, and we're going to figure it out. And I know that we're going to make improvements as things go along, so I'm not worried. I feel like everything's going to be fine. So that's everything for this video. If you have any thoughts that you'd like to share, please leave them in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching.